Today I'm having a chat to Ray, who's a sales executive with Compliance Hub, and he's been with us for a number of years. Ray, thanks for joining me today and chatting to us about the EME and QSE companies and the certification involved. Ray, help us out here. A couple of years ago, SANAS changed the regulations and moved away from an EME certificate to an EME affidavit. Why was that? What was the thinking behind that?
I think the intention was to save small businesses money for going through the full verification process. And the affidavit is an important document. Any untruthful statements in that document could lead to prosecution.
Okay, makes sense. So there's accountability now for the entity that's completing the affidavit?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ray, a QSE, apparently a QSE can get an affidavit or need to have a certificate. How does that play together?
The QSE can get an affidavit, Hilton, and it's fairly simple as well, but there's a big if, and that's if the company is 51% or more black owned, then they can get an affidavit.
Okay, great. Well, that's easy enough, eh? Ray, what happens if a company is completing an affidavit for their company and they, in the construction sector and they complete the codes of good practice, or they in the codes of good practice and they complete one for the financial sector? What happens then?
They could also be held liable for fines or prosecutions, and it's a fairly simple process that they would need to follow and ensure that they're following the right guidelines for the correct sector codes, and that's easily available on the Compliance Hub website, which is www.compliancehub.co.za.
Great. Ray, can a company complete more than one affidavit in a year if they see that their threshold is coming close to going over the threshold, which means they're going to move from an EME to a QSE? Can we quickly fill in a new affidavit?
They can. However, one thing that's got to remain the same is the financial period. So if the previous one was filled in the financial period from March to February, they need to ensure that the new affidavit is in line with the same financial period, because it could also result in fronting.
So the days of completing two in one period are long gone? Absolutely. Okay, but I would assume that if I happen to change my ownership within the company over that period, and I become 51% black owned, or 30% or 20% black owned, I could then issue a affidavit for that, reflecting that change, providing my financial period remains the same on my affidavit.
Yes, that's correct. So it just needs to remain within that same 12-month financial period that it's measured on.
Okay, great. So I might only need to have that affidavit valid then for 2 months of the year.
Correct, yes.
Okay, perfect. Ray, you're talking about sector codes and you're talking about thresholds, and these obviously vary between various sectors. It's confusing for the guy in the street, and it's difficult to follow. Where can the guy in the street find, where can the small business owner find this information?
It could be a little bit confusing, and sometimes you're not sure where to go and get the right guidelines. But the great thing is Compliance Hub on their website, which is www.compliancehub.co.za, or we're just a phone call away. And on the website, it gives you all the guidelines, it gives you the templates that you can download for free. And this would ensure that you're following the correct sector codes, as well as the guidelines which are given to you in each one of those, under each one of those sector codes.
Brilliant. Ray, final thought for all our clients out there.
Hilton, I think the process is fairly simple. However, if you as a company owner or a small business owner are confused or unsure, we're just a phone call away. We can give you the correct guidance and support that you need and guide you through this process. So it makes life a lot easier for you as a business owner.
Fantastic. Ray, thanks for popping in, and thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Hilton.
Please join us for our next video.